That is the picture that will go down in history.
Yes.
Despite the political breakthrough of the 1994 first post-Apartheid pause, deep economic and social inequalities persist 3 decades into democracy. According to the recent research conducted by the Institute for Justice and Reconciliation, more than half of the population lives in poverty. Income equality levels are among the highest in the world, and almost 2/3 of young adults of working age are unemployed.
A hope that things would get better.
Former anti-apartheid activist Dr. Seth Cooper was acknowledging the socio-economic advancements made over the past 3 decades has bemoaned the failure to implement some of the key principles of the Freedom Charter, which calls for a just and equitable society.
If the principles of the Freedom Charter, which influence our Constitution, were implemented, and in June it'll be a major anniversary of the Freedom Charter, but we are far from achieving even one of those principles enunciated in the Freedom Charter. So if you look at our democracy, we've influenced legislation. The constitutional underpinning comes from that background. But in implementation, we are hopeless. In thinking through policies that enable the majority in a country which is the richest on the African continent, it cannot be that the gap between rich and poor rises and has been rising for at least a decade and more. It cannot be that 2/3 of our population live in dire poverty, the overwhelming majority of them African, on the southern tip of Africa. How do we do that?
For his part, chairman of the Solidarity Civil Society Movement, Philip Bays, has stressed the need to safeguard minority rights, which he argues have been eroded over the past decades.
I think we all know about the failure of the state in so many aspects. We know about the service delivery problems, we know about crime and about corruption, and also with regard to our culture. We know, I strongly believe in unity in diversity. When you have room for diversity, you have unity in the country. But when a government try to change the multicultural landscape of the country with a monocultural policy, that becomes a problem. People don't feel free. And that is why we always believe in mutual recognition and respect for each other's cultures. Let's make room for each other, let's work together, but let's also respect the different cultures.
That was, I think, it started there, Iskitim Samakosa, if you follow its history.
Social activist Dr. Vuyiswa Dlamini says rampant corruption and greed by the rich and political elite is a betrayal for sacrifices made by those who fought against the apartheid regime.
There's no contribution from everybody. In South Africa is the Freedom Charter saying, so the people shall govern. We are not governing as a people of South Africa. We are being told. You hear in the morning a voice that you have never known, coming in on radio platforms, TV platforms, on newspapers, writing things that they think that have not consulted with the people on the ground. Because the whole idea, according to the leaders that started this movement, that people are going to be consulted for any other decision that is taken. But we find ourselves that there's a few people that decide for the over 55 million South Africans that don't take decisions, but they are decided, things are decided for them. Yeah. So that's my painful, especially when I hear, my heart actually bleeds when I visit places like townships or anywhere, rural, where you hear people actually complaining that we are not even told. We just hear.
It's hoped that the mooted National Dialogue Summit will be a platform in which South Africans engage in meaningful discussions about the country's socio-economic prospects and future. Tsepo Ikaneng, SABC News, Johannesburg.